Hello, and welcome back to Bnei Noach Academy, Thoughts on the Torah. Please remember to hit the like button to subscribe, and most importantly, to share this insight and inspiration with friends and family. So, where does man come from? Of course, I don't even have the remotest interest in entertaining those crazy, absurd theories. Remember, theories, not a fact at all, about man coming from monkey, from apes, and so on and so forth. Ridiculous. We don't need to look too far for a source because the source is right there. If you look in Genesis, in chapter 2, verse 7, describes exactly what happened. God took earth and he put it together. He created a body. He manufactured a body. And then from that, he blew a breath of life into the body. In short, this verse describes, again, chapter 2, verse 7 describes the physical part of the body and the spiritual part of the body. The physical part of the body is the actual body, and that comes from physical matter, from earth, okay? Mainly earth. It also has to have all four elements of Eish, Ruach, Mayim, Afar, which is fire, air, which is oxygen, water, and earth. In this case, it's primarily earth, and that's why you have that physical form of the body. But then in order for it to be alive, God blows into it a breath of life, aka our souls. And the fact is, when that breath of life is extracted from the body, when God decides to do so, when it evacuates the body is no longer alive, and it's just left to be a piece of dirt, like a piece of dirt. Of course, it has to be treated with reverence and respect. What I mean to say, and that's why it goes back to the dust. Now, just an interesting thing, and especially as we're experiencing so much turmoil, so much political turmoil in the world, and sadly, so much savagery, and all of it, or at least some claim that all of it goes back to, this contention over a certain spot in the world, a certain small little place in the world, and more specifically within that place, a very, very exclusive point of it, aka Jerusalem, that is so contentious. Everybody wants a part of it. Everybody has a claim to it. It seems that all of humanity is excited about it. Some are too excited about it to the extent that they're ready to kill, they're ready to hurt, they're ready to maim. What is it? If you think about it, I believe that the only religion that really has its source almost exclusively in Jerusalem, it seems to be only Judaism. It's mentioned in the Torah. But other than that, and God says, this is my holy place. But other than that, why would any other people have a connection to it? Well, when we look at this verse where it says that God took earth from the ground, and with that, he formed the original body of man, from whom we all come from. No, we don't come from apes. From whom we all descend. That first man and woman, where was that earth taken from? So, in fact, it was taken from, on the one hand, a primary amount of it, meaning the vast amount of it, was taken from the very spot on the top of Temple Mount on which later stood the altar. In fact, the sages of the Talmud tell us, quote, man was created from his place of atonement, meaning from the very place that later man can achieve atonement by offering the various offerings for the various types of sins. That is the very spot where God chose to take the earth from. I just want to make a note here that the altar was not just intended exclusively for the Jewish people, but in fact, even non-Jews were able to bring offerings there, albeit by means of offering it through the priest. But in that case, there was no difference between a non-Jew, between a Gentile and a Jew, because even a Jew was restricted from entering and bringing his or her own offering. It had to be done through certain systematic protocol, which called for by the Torah, which is called for by the Torah, which is exclusively through the priests who were designated to do it. But getting back to the point, primarily man was created to there. However, in order for every human being to be able to find his or her place anywhere in the world, in order for them not to be, quote, spit out by the ground anywhere in the world, not only after they're alive, after their death, that is, but even during their life, they should be able to acclimate to anywhere in the world. What God did, he also physically took from every corner of the earth, from every side of the globe, he took a little earth and he put it all into the mix. And with that, he made the body. That tells us that man has a place in every part of the world. Man could make themselves comfortable in any part of the world. Man, however, primarily comes from Jerusalem. And that's why at the end of the day, everybody feels some gravitation to that place. I've spoken to many people from all walks of life, from various persuasions, especially as it comes to religion, and everybody, and I know they weren't exaggerating, they weren't lying, everybody felt something when they came to Jerusalem. And this tells us, by the way, how important it is for us, civilized people, enlightened people, people who are lucky enough to follow the word of Hashem through the Torah, to be not only mindful, but to be supportive of the fact that we need a place like that, which is really the source of our existence. We need it to be in the right hands. We need it to be protected and secured so it could be readily available and accessible to all of mankind, as it is now, thank God, and may it continue to be.